Hey, how's everyone doing? CudaRebels Cars and Diecast here with a little bit of a challenge today from Diecast Looney. We have the Fast Forward challenge today, and shout out to his channel at Diecast Looney. He's a cool guy, and he inspired this challenge. So first things first, we have the Ford Torino Talladega by Leroy Yarborough, who was the leading money winner. I believe he won the most amount of money in the 1969 NASCAR season. He also won the Daytona 500 and Southern 500 at Darlington in this car, which I think is pretty cool. It's got a racing pedigree behind it, and I love the decals on it. It is a Johnny Lightning with the 429 Boss under the hood, Boss 429. It's a really pretty cool car, but yeah, I'm just gonna make this pretty fast. Not too fast, but enough for where you guys, once you see the car, like get a good look at it. I'll move on to the next one. And speaking of fast forward, here's one from across the pond. We have a shoot. I'm not good with my European Fords. I apologize. This is a Ford Sierra Cosworth. Okay, that's cool because I do know that car. I just couldn't recognize it at first. That's a cool car. I wish we had gotten these in the States. These are really nice looking and they're fast too, just as fast as our big Yank tanks, as a lot of people tend to say. But yeah, I absolutely am in love with this. See, I already had forgotten the name already. Ford Sierra Cosworth. I gotta put that in my head, and hopefully it'll stay there because I love all cars, so I would like to love this as much as my Talladega. But with that out of the way, I will move on to our next car. I have a Mustang here. We'll put that here. This is a 97 Mustang. I believe it is some sort of ARCA race car. I'm not sure. It does not say. It just says 97 Mustang on the base. I can't read it off like I did with the Sierra Cosworth. See, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. But yeah, I think this is a really nice looking car, and it just the gold paint really suits it for whatever it just whatever reason. I think it looks good with the black stripes. A little, maybe a little too much, but that might just be me. So oh yeah, and by the way, speaking of fast forwards, who can forget the first fast forward? We have the 32 Ford Roadster, the first Ford offered with a V8 engine, and that's how Ford started mass producing V8s in 1932. They actually just had a huge event. I was at Autorama earlier this year, a car show in Detroit, and they had a huge 90th celebration for the 32 Ford. It celebrated 90 years to the original flathead Ford V8, which I think is awesome. So yeah, that's just probably my one of my favorite aspects is that this is the first muscle car, almost you could say, but hot rod is the better term for it. So I will, without further ado, move on to another pretty cool Ford. A lot of people might know this one. This is the Ford Focus RS. I wish there were more of these. I've seen a couple of these. In fact, there's a guy in our neighborhood who has a black one, and I am absolutely in love with it. So I hope to see more of these. I mean, I know they're out of production, but I just these are such cool little cars. You don't really see them often. I mean, maybe you see them more in other places, but I don't know. I only know of the one here in where I'm from in Michigan, but otherwise, yeah, it's such a quirky little fast car. It looks like a family car, but once you get behind the wheel, goes pretty fast. But yeah, I'll move this guy off. Now we have an interesting new casting I just picked up the other day. It is Ertl, or another Ertl casting. It's got the opening trunk and everything. You might remember that from my video with opening trunks, Ertl castings I showed off. And this is a Ford Mustang Mach 1 from 1969. And it is a pretty nice looking casting. It's fast. It just looks fast just looking at it. It's got the hood lever, not hood levers, but the whatever this is. I don't know what this is called, unfortunately. So but yeah, this is probably one of my favorite newer castings that I've picked up recently. I was really stoked to have come across this because this is from the latest edition of Racing Champions Mint. But even though it's an Earl casting, so I guess they have some sort of deal with it. But yeah, this is by far one of my favorite cars from the set, so I'm really happy to have picked that up and displayed it to you guys today. So now we have the Ford Thunderbolt. You might remember this. This was in one of my very first videos I made about the Ford Thunderbolt. It's I don't think I can post a link in the. Well, I could probably do it, but this is pretty looking cool car. It's a Johnny Lightning as well, and it's got 427 cubic inches, about I'd say about over 500 horsepower. These engines were very underrated, but even back in the day, you know, because this was a purpose-built drag car. They squeezed like again a 427 cubic inch big block under the hood of a Ford family-sized car, and basically drag raced with it, which I think is pretty awesome. It is such a cool little car for all that power to have. It's a Tasca Ford, which I believe was an old Ford dealer back in the 60s too, so I chose this one because I have a few of these from Hot Wheels too, but this is my only Johnny Lightning one. But I think it is so cool. And speaking of racing Fords, let's talk about the GT40, Le Mans winning car. I believe it won Le Mans 4 times, 66 through 69. So 66, 67, 68, 69. Yeah, it's four times it won at Le Mans, and then was later to be dethroned by the Porsche 917 the next year, which is also a very cool race car if you ask me. I will probably post something on that car in the future, but this is by far my favorite GT40. It is the first edition Hot Wheels variant from 1999, and it just the 59 on the side, the 4 decals. Even the blue windows, which you think would look out of shape, fit this car pretty well. So, yeah, that's the GT40 I decided to use for this video, because it is by far my favorite. And without further ado, my last car is this, the famous Shelby Cobra with another again a sports car. This was used on a British car, the AC Bristol, I think it was called. And Carroll Shelby got a bunch of these, squeezed a Ford V8 under the hood, put some modifications on it, and we have the Shelby Cobra that a lot of people know and love today. And it's just an outstanding little car. It's got the 427 under the hood as well, and it's also like, you know, it's got it's got this. If you can see that, it's got this under the hood. It's just a supercharged huge V8 for a little car. It says on the side here, I don't know if you can see it. It says right there, 427, if you can see that. It's awesome. And that is all my Fords today, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this challenge. And again, I will put Diecast Loonies channel in the description for featuring all these other Fords I have today out here. I have all these. And I hope you all have enjoyed. And thank you all for watching. Have a good day, everybody.